U.S. President Donald Trump says he signed the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Bill. The bill was approved by the Senate last week, but has stirred controversy in China. To unpack that for us, here's Tony Waterman live in our newsroom. Tony?
Yeah, Rochelle, this was all but inevitable, and many were expecting that the president was going to go ahead and sign this bill. But really, putting pen to paper is going to put new strain on U.S.-China relations and further complicate negotiations on a Phase 1 trade deal, which at least this morning was looking within arm's reach. So this amendment now, this change to the bill, is going to require an annual review of Hong Kong's special trade status with America. So essentially, the Secretary of State is going to have to certify every single year whether Hong Kong remains sufficiently autonomous from Beijing to justify this special treatment. And in a statement from President Trump from the White House, he said, I signed these bills out of respect for President Xi, China, and the people of Hong Kong. They are being enacted in the hope that leaders and representatives of China and Hong Kong will be able to amicably settle their differences, leading to long-term peace and prosperity for all. But China perhaps sees things a bit differently. It has been very vocal in its opposition to this bill, saying that it violates China's sovereignty and that what's happening in Hong Kong is an internal matter within China. And we heard from the country's foreign ministry. It has warned that it would take strong countermeasures if this bill became law. I spoke to an expert last week that said perhaps this wouldn't directly impact the trade negotiation, but there are other measures that Beijing could take. But of course, this bill was the signing of this was all but inevitable. We saw this bill just fly through the both houses of Congress just last week. There was only one Congress member that did not vote in favor of this.
So, Tony, what's the potential fallout from this decision to sign?
Well, on a purely economic side, there's potentially $38 billion in trade that could be jeopardized if this status is rescinded. Because remember, under that 1992 Act, the United States treats Hong Kong differently when it comes to trade. It gives them certain privileges that other places don't get, the mainland does not get. So it would effectively mean treating the financial hub no differently than any other Chinese city. There's also, of course, to be a likely impact on the impending Phase 1 trade deal, at least a little bit. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that talks with China on that deal were near completion after negotiators on both sides spoke over their phone, signaling that the progress was being made after nearly 2 years of this tit-for-tat trade war. There's also potentially concern that people may in the future think twice about raising money or doing business in Hong Kong if it loses that special status. So there's economic fallout, there's trade fallout, there's commerce fallout. Potentially, we haven't heard yet from Beijing, but we probably will later today.